about this all day. All right, I haven't went out to protest, although my daughter has in Brooklyn. But I'm angry, and I'm ready to talk.
Yeah.
First thing is, there needs to be accountability.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be accountability.
Okay.
These police officers that are out here killing black men, treating black men, are not equally or not as equal as their white suspects. They need to be held accountable.
Agreed.
Also, what about escalation of force?
When do you escalate it to that point,
When you escalate, do I bring a gun to a knife fight as a policeman?
Agreed.
If somebody pulls out a knife, do I pull out my gun? There's escalation of force. Other thing is rules of engagement. When do I shoot to kill? When do I shoot to kill? So all these things they need to be addressed, and the police need to be held accountable for their wrong actions and their wrongdoing.
But
let me ask you a question.
We want to talk about one thing real quick. I mean, the thing is here, we're not talking about even men that brought knives to a gunfight. We're talking about men that didn't have no weapon on them. And I mean, we can talk about my man Aubrey.
Ahmaud Auburn.
Fuck, I don't know why I'm saying Audrey. Ahmaud Auburn. You go back to that. These are unarmed motherfuckers. Freddie Gray, unarmed. We talking about unarmed people.
Breonna Taylor.
When the fuck? There doesn't need to be an explanation. If he's unarmed, there's no explanation why you killed him. Your job is to detain a suspect, correct?
Correct, and you're trained. Your job is actually to protect and serve.
Okay, right? Protect and serve, but detain a suspect, especially if they're unarmed. But you killing motherfuckers. You killing motherfuckers that are unarmed. This is the problem.
That's what the problem is.
This is the goddamn problem.
The problem is also the culture too. Now, the other. Go ahead, Dre. Go ahead. You chime in, bro.
There needs to be a level of accountability.
Agreed, and it needs to be publicized.
Example set for those who are not being held accountable. If you wrongfully kill a suspect, you need to be held accountable for it.
Yes.
And that accountability needs to be set as an example to those who come before you and to those who come after you. They need to know that you can't conduct yourself in this manner as a police officer.
Correct.
Facts. You just can't do it.
Can't do it.
Because it's somebody's son, somebody's daughter that's dying.
Yeah.
Wrongfully.
Right.
Yes.
So who's going to hold them accountable?
Needlessly.
I'm thinking to myself, my voice, our voices don't have to be loud, but they have to pierce. And they have to have substance.
Right.
Agreed.
So it's more than. Now I'm not against these guys out here protesting, rioting. I'm not against that. But it needs to be taken many levels higher.
It needs to be taken to the point where they're gonna take it seriously.
The lawmakers.
And I hear, a lot of motherfuckers are saying, well, that's not the way you protest. That's not the way you do things, and I get that. But you have to understand the amount of anger that is coming. When we do protest peacefully, what happens?
I don't get that. Nothing. Because
nothing happens.
And I hate to cut you off, but I gotta jump in.
Protest that aggressively to make motherfuckers hear. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Because that point makes me so mad when people say that.
Yeah, I know.
People say that's not how you protest. Asshole, that's what a protest is. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. Because when I spoke to you sensibly, you didn't listen.
Exactly.
You're supposed to understand the error of your way.
We've spoken sensibly. I feel like this community has spoken sensibly, and nobody listens. So now what do you expect people to do? Just sit the back seat and not do nothing? And look,
and continue to die.
I'm about a peaceful protest, at the end of the day, I understand why motherfuckers is angry and why they're doing what they're doing, because nobody listens anyway.
But see, this is the thing about it, Lucho Speaks. I don't know if you're necessarily about a peaceful protest. You're about peace. There's a difference between being about peace and being about a peaceful protest. I love peace.
You calling me a thug?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. I think a peaceful protest would be ideal if a peaceful protest was effective. but it's
Right.
not.
Let me ask you a question, sir. If you, I, and everybody else that's here takes to the streets and walks down the streets hand in hand in solidarity against one common cause, and the cops approach us and harass us and become physical, we have executed a peaceful protest, but the cops have taken it to another level and made it an unpeaceful protest.
Correct.
So everybody's standing out in front of CNN,
Right.
peaceful. People standing out in the streets of LA and all over this nation, peaceful. But when the cops, put the curfews out there, and then try to, make people move and not giving them a chance to say their piece
And be human.
and then the cops initiate this violence, that's them not being peaceful. That's not us.
Agreed. And in
That's
addition,
not us.
and to those that are listening right now, because I'm on Twitter all the time, and I already know somebody listening saying, oh, well, in this one city, a black person initiated this and that and the third. Let me tell you something. If your child comes to you, all these parents, and is an ass to you that one day, or they want to be however they want me to talk shit to you, you don't beat them up because you're bigger than them. It's your responsibility as the parent to handle that the right way. It's the responsibility of the police, those who are actually paid their livelihood to serve and protect and to de-escalate these situations. It's your responsibility to do that. I'm not going to put the responsibility on some 18-year-old angry guy that came out the house because he's mad.
I love the fact you use the word de-escalate, because that is the police's job. To de-escalate.
Yes.
The police have a job. Their job is to de-escalate shit.
That's right.
Now, the military has a different job. The military is to go in and kill everything.
Right.
That's the military
Wow.
job.
We got a lot of military.
I mean,
Y'all hear that? Hey, y'all hear that? Lucho speaks because we got a lot of military in the building. The military, Lucho speaks that the military's job is to go in and kill shit. And that's the only job of the military.
Okay.
Kill shit.
And so you.
That's what Lucho speaks.
Well, I just said it, but look. What I'm trying to say is that when you bring in the military to, let's say, Donald Trump talking about bringing in the military to
national fucking guard,
quarantine some shit,
and when the looting starts, the shooting starts.
The shooting starts. Yeah. What I'm saying is, this is bullshit.
I'm stirring
the
the pot.
police are there to de-escalate the situation. But what we're seeing is that the police are not de-escalating anything.
Yes, and if
they
anyone's
are acting as if they are military and against our own citizens.
Yes.
You can't do that.
Shouldn't do that.
American
citizens. Now, let me tell you something. If you go to my Twitter,
citizens.
Breath of the Child, no I in the word child on Twitter. Go to my Twitter. I retweeted a video. The police popped the tires of a car with a couple. In Atlanta, Georgia. It was a black man and a black woman. They're in their early 20s. They popped their tires. They couldn't get out the car. They ran up on the car, yelled for them to get out of the car. The girl in the passenger side was terrified. She screamed. She was mortified. Her window was down. She was scared. She didn't know what to do. They were pointing guns and tasers at her. She put her hands up. She was obviously terrified. They opened the door. They bust her boyfriend. Oh, they bust the man's window out. I'm not going to assume he was her boyfriend. They bust his window out. They tased her and pepper sprayed her and dragged her out of the car. This girl weighed about 120 pounds, 130 pounds easily. She was small. They dragged her out of the car and they cuffed her. Then they tased her. They bust out the window of the driver's side and tased the man. The only aggressive act that he made was when they yanked his girl out the car. He reached over to like no, don't yank my girl out the car. And they tased the shit out of him. He was incapacitated and they pulled him out of the car. They detained both of them. Why are you detaining? Why are you using that kind of a force with these people?
Because they can.
Exactly. And that's part of the problem.
That's
because
the problem.
And they're allowed to.
What about a level of professionalism? As a retired Marine, you have to maintain professionalism. Maintain professionalism throughout whatever endeavor, whatever skirmish, whatever exercise, whatever we were in. We have to maintain a level of professionalism.
Of course.
We have to, right?
And they should.
Because as a military service member, you are representing the United States of America.
So I want to talk about some of the shit that Donald Trump has been talking about and saying, hey, we're ready to bring out the military if we need to. And to me, goddamn, you ready to bring up the military? Have you even spoken to the country since this has happened? I mean, President Trump has done 1 million speeches, and now we're in a crisis where this country is trying to look for a leader. Why is this president sitting there throwing fuel on the fire? Throwing gasoline on a fire that's already lit, talking about we got vicious dogs. We're gonna start, if the looting starts, the shooting gonna start. What kind of representation? What are you sending? What's the message you're sending to the people of this country with your fucking dumbass remarks? I mean, what do you feel about that as an ex-military person? How do you feel about that person representing this government, the government that you work for? As a member of the military, I mean, retired, but yeah.
I would tell you this much: he's only going to be who he's going to be. Is he capable of doing those things that you say that he should do? Is he capable? That's the question. This is the same guy that during the Central Park 5 said without any type of without any court, bringing them into court, type of anything like that. This is a guy that said that they should be killed. They should be sentenced to life, or they should be killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he capable? Does he have the empathy to come out with those type of sentiments? He's not. He's not that type of dude. So you can only be who you are. Right. You can only be who you are. So don't expect Donald Trump to be that type of guy, because he's not.
And that's the scary thing, but this is the guy that we have in office leading this country. And that's what we lack. So many supporters are for this guy, and I don't understand why they don't see this guy has zero sympathy for anything. He does not give a shit. As long as his wallet is laid and is paying him, he don't give a fuck, and this is the problem,
bro.
He does not give a shit.
I don't even think he even cares about his pockets. I think he more cares about. You know how some rappers, they don't care about. Oh, my levels are high. You know how I hear some rappers, they don't care about making money. All they care about is being famous. And I think Donald Trump, all he care about is being famous, bro. All he care about is, he wants his name to be the name that everybody's talking about. He wants his Twitter to be popping.
Is he treating this like he treated his fucking TV show, The Apprentice?
Yes, he's treating it like an extended episode of The Apprentice. He's firing anyone who doesn't do what he wants.
While people are out here dying, this is a big game for him.
Yo, apparently, and I don't know how much truth there is to this, so please, DJ Child apologizes, because I did not fact check this. But I seen somewhere that Donald Trump was like basically a menace in elementary school. He assaulted one of his teachers, and his parents sent them to like some military school or something like that. Which, you hear that story all the time, no big deal. But that's who the president is right now, bro?
Exactly.
Like,
it doesn't make sense.
And like you said, Lucho Speaks, it's not so much Donald Trump. I don't care that Donald Trump is Donald Trump. There's a whole lot of people like Donald Trump and worse. It's the fact that half the country, or 30% or 20% of the country, is fucking with him, bro.
And they really think this guy is their savior. They are out of their fucking mind.
Yeah, this shit's crazy to me, bro. This shit crazy to me. And I apologize to the listening audience, because this is my show, but I know my audio is way louder than everybody else's.
Good.
I apologize. It's all good, though, because I have the radio voice and y'all motherfuckers don't. You know what I'm saying? And let me switch mics real quick one time on y'all. Excuse me, because we are live. But
we are live. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that we are live.
Speaking of live,
We out here.
we out here. Speaking of live, starting in the very near future, we're not going to say a date yet, but starting in the very near future, me and Lucho Speaks want to announce to everybody, WLVS Radio, Listen Vision Studios in Washington, D.C. on Georgia Avenue, straight across from Howard University, has picked up the show.
Oh, shit.
Hell yeah, bro.
Here we go. Goddamn.
We're picked up.
All right.
I've been talking to the powers that be. They're getting everything ready. Once a month, all summer long, me and Lucho Speaks are going to be taking the show live to Washington, D.C. at Listen Vision Studios. It's going to be an open studio.
Nice.
Anyone can come. We're going to make sure that we invite all of our friends. It's going to be on the Instagram, Twitter, everything. I'm going to make Lucho Speaks post it. I'm going to make them.
Yeah. I'm gonna make them. I love it.
And it's gonna be a party, y'all.